Alright, what is up guys, it's your boy Darsh, and I'll be showing you guys how for loops work in Java. So basically, for loops are a block of code that runs continuously for a certain amount of times, and you have to hard code the amount of times, or sort of hard code them, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So to make a for loop, or the basic purpose of a for loop, so a prime example would be, let's say I want all the multiples of 2, right? So 2 times 1, let's say 2 to 1,000, right? Oops. 2 times 2, 2 times 3. You can see this will take forever to do, right? If I wanted to 1,000. And a faster way of doing this would be using a for loop. So with a for loop, you want to call it as a for loop, and then inside here you want to make an integer. So whatever increment number you want to make it, so int, I'll call it int I, and you want to set that to a number. So to initialize, we will set it to a 0 for now, and then you want to do I is less than or equal to, let's say we want it from 1,000, right? So 0 to 1,000 would be all the multiples, or we could do 1. Let's just do 1 because we all know 0. So then we do I++, and after that, basically every time it goes through, it adds I and checks this condition, and if that is true, then it keeps going. In this case, we are just doing the multiples of 2 with I. See, and as you know, it does all the multiples. You can see down here, 2, 1,000, so that's a lot of numbers. And we didn't have to do that all by hand, we just did it in this amount of code. And the way this works is, so let's just do a simpler example. Let's do 5, and let's just print out I, right? So we can see what's going on. So I is just whichever number it started out with. In this case, it started out with 1. It prints out 1, right? And it checks the condition again. So in this case, it adds 1 to I, and it sees if I, which now is 2 is less than 5. That's true, less than or equal to 5. So that's true, so it prints out that. So it prints out 2. Next it adds 1, 3 is less than or equal to 5. That's true, prints out 3. Next, 4. 4 is less than or equal to 5, prints out that. 5, less than or equal to 5, prints out 5. Next, it adds 1 to 5. 5 is less than or equal to 5. That returns false, right? And that's when the for loop stops. So that is the basics of for loops. Within here, you can also do minus minus if you wanted, or anything like that. So yeah, a brief example, a better example would be to do, multiplication tables. Well, let's do a let's do an example that gives us all the odd numbers from 0 to 1,000, right? So we want to have all the odd numbers. So I'll let you guys, if you guys can solve that, I'll give you a few minutes, or you can pause the video actually, and then I will solve it. Alright guys, so I'm going to teach you guys how to print out prints out all odd numbers from 0 to 1,000. Right. Using for loops. Okay. So we have the for loop structure. Now we want to do 0 to 1,000. Okay. And then we want to add to I, yeah. And this time we need to use an if statement. So from our 2 tutorials ago, we can see the if statements. And we want to see what makes a number odd, right? And in this case, it would be it's evenly divisible by 2, right? So you want to use a mod. So if something mod something is equal to 0, that means it's evenly divisible. But like an odd number would always be having a remainder of 1, right? Because 3 divided by 2 has a remainder of 1. 5 divided by 2 has a remainder of 1. So all of them have a remainder of 1. So what we want to do is I mod 2. If that is equal to 1, then we want to print out that number. In this case, let's print out, instead of having a new line because there's so many numbers, let's just do print plus a space, right? So it just prints out a space with a comma. So once we run this, it should print out all the odd numbers. So we got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and it keeps going until it reaches 999, which is an odd number, which is the highest odd number between 0 to 1000. So that's basically a short exercise of for loops, and yep, catch you in the next one.